Poorest towns in the UK, South Elmsall. We're looking forward to a day when the towns that are not so rich in England or the UK as a whole will be able to stand up in the comity of towns and proudly raise their heads. For now, it's the turn of South Elmsall. If you're contemplating a move to South Elmsall or are just interested in knowing what the area is like, we have a very good account in this video that will give you a nice glimpse. For the actual introduction to the town, please see our video about towns in the UK that contains a deep analysis of the town. For now, we are discussing South Elmsall as one of the poorest towns in the UK. Where is South Elmsall? If anyone needs to be reminded, South Elmsall is a town located in the county of West Yorkshire. It is 1.6 kilometres east of the town of South Kirkby. That is why both towns are oftentimes ranked together. It is also 5 miles southeast of Hemsworth, 6.4 kilometres north of Thurnscoe, 6.4 kilometres north of Goldthorpe, and 13 miles northwest of the major town of Doncaster. Situated just north of the South Yorkshire border, the town was historically in the county of Yorkshire. However, it lies within the Metropolitan District Council of Wakefield. South Elmsall is in the WF9 2YN postcode district with Pontefract as the post town. South Elmsall really in the past. About 2 centuries ago, no one would think of Elmsall as a poor town. As a former quarry site, it was deemed a site of national importance because of its quarry and coral reef. It used to be known for its coal mining. The famous Frickley Colliery, one of the largest deep coal mines in the UK, found a home in the town. Going into the history of the town, you'd see that it was once on a steady rise to greatness. It used to be mainly a small farming settlement that was self-reliant before the Industrial Revolution. Collieries caused a boom in population, and this, in turn, created the need for modern housing for the workforce and their households. The contributions of the famous Frickley Colliery are enough to take the town beyond the grip of poverty. That colliery brought a lot of improvements to the area. Many clubs and organisations still have the name of the colliery as part of their names. Our Frickley Colliery Brass Band, Frickley Athletic, which is a famous football team, and a cricket club named Frickley. Nevertheless, the reality that stares us in the face is that South Elmsall today is one of the poorest towns in the United Kingdom, in spite of all it has to make it great. Is South Elmsall really poor? Sometimes due to inattentiveness to facts and figures, it may not be clear to onlookers if a town is really poor. This is in addition to the fact that this town is somewhat quiet and doesn't give much room for the media to poke their nose into. However, we can discern the poverty in South Elmsall when we consider it circumstantially. Consider, for instance, references made to this town in reports by the government of the United Kingdom on issues of social exclusion in 1998. The government's Social Exclusion Unit released a series of Policy Action Team reports. Using South Elmsall and surrounding towns as a case study, the Skill report stated, "The local communities still suffer from serious environmental, social and economic problems and a crisis of morale as a result of the loss of jobs in the mining industry." What can you deduce from this alone? Recall that the mining industry and colliery had been a major source of income for this town. Now that the industry has collapsed, the report only summarises the consequences. We shall discuss more on this later. But before we leave that, let's consider how easy it is to get a job in this town since we are talking about the loss of jobs. We would rely a lot on data from the Office for National Statistics, the ONS, in this regard. We have access to the South Elmsall social grade and occupation statistics got from a poll. This is a classification based on occupation. It is usually used to classify households and all their members according to the job of the main income earners. Residents of South Elmsall reportedly hold 20% fewer higher and intermediate managerial posts. The town also has 20% fewer professional or administrative households than the national average. But why is that so? It boils down to the level of education being obtained by the majority of the residents. The town has a high rate of uneducated residents. By this, we mean those with either no qualifications or those with qualifications equal to 1 or more GCSE at grade D or below. When people don't have enough prerequisite education and skills, they become unemployable and their capacity to earn an income is reduced. That's also the reason the town has a lower rate of home ownership. Only 29% of the residents own their homes. Overall deprivation in South Elmsall. A vital clue is contained in the English Indices of Deprivation for 2019. The overall rating for South Elmsall and South Kirkby indicates that this town is one of the most deprived and subsequently one of the poorest. Let's start with employment deprivation. By this, we're referring to the proportion of working-age residents in the town. Many of them are excluded from the jobs market. They are involuntarily deprived of work. According to the categorization in the IMD domains, they are either unable to find work or are unable to work due to sickness or disability. They could also be caregivers. Only 22.5% of the residents are not deprived. As mentioned earlier, the majority of them are deprived of education, skills and training to earn a decent living. Only 13.5% are not deprived in this regard. Another one is health and disability. The town is 13.8% deprived of this. This measures the risk of dying young or having the quality of life impaired through poor physical or mental health in the town. While the domain takes into consideration morbidity, disability and premature mortality, it doesn't take into consideration personal behaviour or environmental factors. Besides all this, the town also ranks so low in the domains of barriers to housing and services and living environment. Effects on crime. There is a strong connection between poverty and crime. An idle mind is a breeding ground for criminal tendencies. The crime rate of 111 per 1,000 people in South Elmsall is a loud indicator of poverty. This town is among the 10 most dangerous small towns in West Yorkshire. Out of West Yorkshire's 118 towns, it is the 21st most dangerous overall. For the whole of England, Wales and Northern Ireland, it's the 64th most dangerous small town. Out of all towns, cities and villages, it is the 463rd most dangerous location. In October 2021, South Elmsall was ranked the worst small town in West Yorkshire for robbery. That month, 3 such crimes were reported as small as the town is. The crime scorecard for 2022 indicates that the town's crime rate is 15% higher than the county's rate. It's also 46% higher than the combined rate of England, Wales and Northern Ireland. Why is South Elmsall poor? At this point, no one can rightly question that South Elmsall is poor. What can be debated at this point is why it is poor. Poverty set in when the coal mines started experiencing difficulty. The closure of pits such as Ferrymore Riddings, Kinsley, South Kirkby and Grimethorpe late in the 20th century, all nearby South Elmsall and which were supporting the town in some way, has an economically devastating effect on the town. Frickley Colliery, which was the mainstay of its economy, was closed on November 26, 1993. Hundreds of jobs were lost following the collapse of mining and colliery. Can there be any improvement? All hope is not lost for this town. At least its large traditional market is a central feature in the shopping centre of the town. It has approximately 105 trading stalls offering all sorts of items. On the outskirts of South Elmsall, you can see the Dale Lane Industrial Estate. It's home to a number of large companies. For instance, a number of Next distribution warehouses are in the town. The location of the estate in itself is a reflection of the change in the industry of the area. That means since the closure of the local collieries, things have started happening there, brightening the future. Before we go, what do you think about the addition of South Elmsall to the list of the poorest towns in the UK? Kindly share what you know or feel in the comment section. Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe, comment and turn on the notification bell. This is Learning Canteen.